Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. All right, let's do this giveaway. I feel like I've stalled on this for a couple of weeks, only because I didn't know how I was going to give these items away. Was it going to be some sort of competition, a question? I wasn't quite sure, but let's not waste any more time. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I am giving away a bunch of audio equipment, ideally to someone that has a YouTube channel and wants to maybe elevate it a little bit. These are some of the items I'm giving away. So we're giving away a Shure SM7B. Many consider this the best mic in the industry at the moment. They call it the Joe Rogan mic because he, I guess, made it famous. I'm giving away a cloud lifter as well, a Focusrite or a Scarlett 212. I'm going to give away a stand. I'm going to give away a boom arm. I'm going to give away all the wires in order to connect all this stuff up. I might even give away a camera. I do have a couple of cameras behind me. I have a couple of these that still work. They're perfectly fine. I've actually used one of these recently and still perfectly fine. So we'll see. But all the audio equipment, 100%, we're giving it away. Now, how do you get your hands on this stuff? Well, again, look, as I said at the start, I do want to give it to someone that already has a YouTube channel. I think it makes sense, right? If you have a YouTube channel and you want to improve your sound quality, then this will certainly do it for you. Now, in order to get this stuff, it's simple, right? This is not going to be one of those, let me ask you a question and whoever comes up with the answer first bullshit. Tell me why you think you should get this stuff. That's it. Tell me why. My email address is below. What I want to do as well, on top of that, is become your mentor. Now, look, I don't have the biggest YouTube channel in the world, but you guys know I've been doing my stuff out there in the big bad world of broadcasting, and I'd love to become someone's mentor. Like, I'd almost like to find me of 4 years ago and just help you through the murky and muddy waters, especially if you do want to eventually become a broadcaster. So yeah, that's it. The email address is below. Tell me why you should get all this equipment and how it can help and improve your YouTube channel. And hopefully it does. So yeah, that's it. All right, let's jump into, it's not a bad little prize, you know. Honestly, it's not a bad, like, I wish I had all this shit. I was using this for years. You guys know this. I was using a Boya M1. I plugged it into my phone, put it on my shirt, and that was it. So look, some of you might not need all this, but some of you who've maybe used something like this for a couple of years might want to elevate your stuff and don't have the finances right now to do it. Hopefully this will help you. So again, email address is below. Tell me why you think you should be getting your hands on all that stuff. All right, let's see what there is today before we talk Dubois versus Wardley or Clark. I'm going to make an argument and a case for both, and maybe someone else, but those two in particular. Malik Scott, Gilberto Ramirez, Chris Billam-Smith is a mismatch. What are you talking about, Malik? Come on, man. I get it. You work with Zerdo right now, but I mean, Chris Billam-Smith is no mismatch for anyone. And I'll chuck Jar Pattaya in there. I've counted out Chris Billam-Smith in too many fights, and I've been wrong all the time. Lawrence Okoli, Richard Riakporhe. This guy just finds a way. He's probably one of the fittest fighters I've ever seen. Lives the life fully, honestly, fully. I always tell the story because I used to live in Stratford. That's where Chris Billam-Smith lives. And I always tell the story of a couple of years ago. It was snowy, wet. It was horrible. And I was driving home and I saw this figure jogging, and I was like, who the fuck is out in this weather? Turned around, it was Chris Billam-Smith, and I'm like, this motherfucker crazy. But then it kind of made me think that this guy is, doing everything possible. Like, in terms of boxing ability, I mean, he's beating guys that maybe have better boxing ability than him, maybe. But he's finding and using everything he has to get the job done. So it's certainly no mismatch. I think it's a very close fight. I'd edge to Chris as the favorite. I really would. I mean, Zerdo's always been the bigger guy. He's no longer the bigger guy. He was the bigger guy at 168. He was the bigger guy at 175. His size has always been, I think, his factor. That's now done. You're not the bigger guy anymore. You're now the same guy, same size, as all the guys. So certainly ain't no mismatch. So yeah, don't listen to Malik Scott on that one. a good fight this weekend, isn't it? Liam Davis versus Masood. Masood's a matchroom fighter. I'm convinced of it. But I like that fight. I like it a lot. You know, I was looking at the Magnificent Seven card as well that Frank put out. Some really good guys and some good fights on that card as well. I think Chantel Cameron is on that card as well. Could be wrong. I think she is. You know, for what is a very small country, yeah, sometimes I do believe, like, if we had one promoter and one broadcaster, I don't care who it is, be it Frank, be Ben, be it Eddie, I'm not bothered by who. I mean, boxing would be so good over here because we actually do have quite a lot of fighters. There are a lot of fights to be made. But when it's spread out between Boxer, who don't really put on shows, it feels like anymore, actually, Boxer, Queensbury, Matchroom, fucking the Sowlands and their Channel 5 deal. Then you got the small hall shows. Now you've got the GBM who are doing really good stuff as well. Congratulations to them. Imagine if that was just all under one umbrella and it was fights every single week. Do you know how good the fight cards would look? They look astonishing. We aren't America. America have 3 or 4 big promoters, but look at the size of that country. Look at the pool they've got. We're not that. But yet we operate the kind of same way they do, where they've got Golden Boy, Top Rank and PBC. So they've got 3 big promoters like what we have, but they are, I mean, you know, the size of America, and again, the number of fighters they've got. You know, it'd be interesting as well. It'd be interesting if we don't. One thing we don't really have over here is the Eastern European fighters. They seem to just cross over us and go straight to America. I don't know how we haven't caught on to getting a few of those, like get them so that they sort of make their home over here. I'm not quite sure why that's not happened. I think of some of the fighters that have gone to America and become superstars that we could be fighting over here. Loma, Bivol, Beterbiev, etc., Golovkin. So it's a shame. All right, let's talk Daniel Dubois and his options, right? Frank has basically given him a green light to choose who he wants to choose come February 22nd. I was on a show yesterday with White and Jordan. We played out a bit of audio from Daniel Dubois, who was basically like, I'll fight anyone. And, you know, I said this on the show yesterday. When fighters say that, you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then they don't fight anyone. Daniel Dubois says it. I believe it. I wholeheartedly believe that this guy will fight anyone. And I think his last 4 fights have shown that, right? Underdog in all 4, right? Usyk, underdog, big underdog. Jarrell Miller, underdog. Hrgovic, big underdog. AJ, underdog. He will fight anyone. He'll fight anyone. Frank wants him to stay active, which is good. An active boxer is a very good boxer. Look, if he goes into a war with someone and it's a grueling fight, then yeah, obviously you rest him. But if the way in which he performed against AJ, he does that consistently, get him out. Get him out every 4 or 5 months. Absolutely. I mean, boxers should be fighting for 3 times a year minimum. Not this once a year bullshit that we're seeing. So look, February 22nd, Frank seems to be adamant that he wants him on that date. Daniel spoke about getting into the gym already and just kind of getting the rust off, if you like. I think he's just come back from Brazil. The 2 names are obvious. I 100% think they're going to go Fabio Wardley. I'm convinced they're going to go Fabio Wardley. It should be Joseph Parker, but I'm convinced they're going to go Fabio. I said this on the video I did the other day. I spoke about, you know, I said Wardley. Sorry, I said Joseph Parker. I said Martin Bakoli, and I said, look, my wild card is Fabio Wardley. And, you know, a couple of people shout on that. Now look, Fabio Wardley's name has been spoken about. Frank Warren has spoken about him. Obviously, he fights under the Queensbury banner. Is it a jump too soon? Yes, but you don't turn it down. If you're Fabio Wardley, you don't turn it down at all. Why would you turn that down? You go straight in there and you just never know. Again, this is the heavyweight division. So I think it's going to be Fabio Wardley, February 22nd. The more deserving is obviously Joseph Parker. I will say this year, if Daniel Dubois fights Joseph Parker February 22nd, that's the greatest run of heavyweight fights back to back. I'm going to think, and I don't want to sound out of pocket here, but I want to maybe say in the last 10 years. Honestly, that run's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous run, isn't it? Or am I exaggerating here? Usyk, Miller, Hrgovic, AJ, Parker. You fucking shitting me? It's a ridiculous run. Usyk, Miller, Hrgovic, AJ, Parker. Usyk, number 1 in the world. At the time, okay, let's say at the time, number 2 in the world. Miller, I'm not quite sure, Miller. Hrgovic, definitely top 10. AJ at the time, people said was number 3. Parker, I can make an argument that Parker is number 5, 4 maybe even. That run there, if Dubois does that run and beats Joseph Parker, we need to have a proper conversation about Daniel Dubois. I feel like we're already having these conversations, but if he was to ice Parker, then we need to have a proper conversation. Because I almost feel like there's still this, but Bakoli would be, I do it a bit. Zhang might do him. Like, if he were to go through Parker, bear in mind, he's stopping these people. He's stopping Miller, stopping Hrgovic, stopping AJ. Mate, it'd be a sensational U-turn. I think the U-turn already is very special, but if he were to do that, it's very, very special. But look, that's all in the future. We'll see. Again, I think it will be Wardley. I do think. I'm trying to think what casuals would class as the bigger fight. Don't know. I don't know. I think Parker, for me, and I certainly don't put myself in the casual bracket, Parker's a bigger fight. But I'm talking just interest, bums on seats. What would people be more like? Because I saw when Sky put it out there, yes, I think Sky put something out like FABIO WARDLEY in discussions to fight Daniel Dubois. I immediately go to the comment section just to see what people's views are on this, and everyone was very, very positive. I didn't hear one or didn't read. He has a couple of he's not ready yet, but majority of people are tuning in to watch that because people have in the back of their minds still, or maybe in the front of their minds, what Wardley done to Fraser Clark. And I think people already, because of that, are thinking, fuck me, he could cause some damage up there. He can cause some damage. But again, just to reiterate my stance, I think it should be Parker. AJ not fighting Dubois is kind of, at least I don't think not fighting Dubois is kind of thrown it all over the place a little bit, because Parker would have fought Zhang and Bakoli would have fought Cabial, and I'm not quite sure who Fabio would have fought, but it all seemed to line up perfectly. He was going to fight him, and AJ was going to take, because AJ hasn't, or doesn't look like he's going to take the rematch, it's kind of like, okay, what do we do? But I'm not too mad at either. I can understand the argument, people saying Fabio is not ready, but I don't know, sometimes you learn on the job in heavyweight division. Sometimes you get in there and you get ready. You find yourself ready. So I'm not mad at both. But again, just so I'm clear on this, I would steer to Joseph Parker, but I think it's going to be FABIO WARDLEY. I think. Mario Barrios hopes to open doors to unification on Jake Paul, Mike Tyson card. Yeah, Barrios is on that card. I feel like I shit on this card a lot. I'm not shitting on the card, I just don't like the fight. I don't like the main event. There's some decent stuff on the undercard, and it helps that Jake's doing this because those fighters get paid, and I'm all for that. But it's just a bit weird. Report here: no talks between Canelo Alvarez and Chris Eubank Jr. My source clearly is either lying or this is not true. Don't know. This is interesting. Brad Paul, Denzel Bentley to headline Magnificent 7 card at Wembley. The reason I say it's interesting is because I heard that there was a conversation about Denzel Bentley taking on Hamza Shiraz. Hamza Shiraz looks like he's going to be on this February 22nd card as well. So I'm guessing now it's going to be Hamza Shiraz versus Carlos Adames for the world title fight. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen now. I didn't mind Bentley versus Hamza Shiraz, by the way. Didn't mind it at all. Oscar De La Hoya mentions big name as ideal Ryan Garcia comeback foe. The name that he's talking about is Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo, I think his mandatory's been called. Obviously, the WBO had their convention the other day, and all these fights are being made and stuff. I don't know. Massive asterisks around Ryan. I'm sorry, there's a massive asterisk. I like the kid. No ill feelings towards him personally, but there is an asterisk. There has to be. But look, serve your suspension. I mean, that he got suspended. He's going to serve it, and he's going to go straight back into a big one. And the thing about these fighters, because they only fight once a year, sometimes twice a year, if we're very, very lucky, him being out for a year doesn't really do anything. So him, normally it's like, okay, I'm out for a year, let me come back and fight someone just to kind of get my, ring rust off well, these fighters only fight once a year, so there is no ring rust. So why not? Why not do it? Maybe that's Oscar's way of basically telling Devon and Bill, look, take what you're given, or we just move on to Tio, which is a big fight as well. But the big fight to make is Ryan versus Devon. That is such a big fight, you know. Like financially, it's a massive fight. It really is. Anything else? Let's have a bit look. No, not much. That's kind of it. Yeah, that's kind of it. All right, guys, girls, remember, in order to win the goodies that are here, win, yeah, win's the right word, isn't it? Email address is below. Tell me why I should be giving it to you.